sir. I am indeed grateful for being called for this webinar. My only claim to knowledge as far as Baluchistan is concerned is a book that I had published in 2009, which was incidentally the first book on Baluchistan by an Indian. And last year I published a book on Gwadar. So uh, just some amplifications to what General Murthy said and General Shankar said. We need to be very clear. Baluchistan province comprises around 43% of Pakistan's landmass, but is inhabited by just around 6% of its population. But Baloch live outside Baluchistan in a very substantive number, both in Iran, Afghanistan, as well as in Sindh and certain parts of Punjab. And amongst Baloch who live in Sindh, there are two types of Baloch. One who are Balochi speaking Baloch, and then there are Sindhi speaking Baloch like Asif Ali Zardari and others. So that is as far as Baluchistan is concerned. As far as history is concerned, Khan of Kalat had presented a memorandum to cabinet secretariat where cabinet mission, sorry, I stand corrected, which was presented by Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who was his legal advisor at that point of time. Kalat in 1947 was a fully functioning state. It was a 19-gun salute state. It had a bicameral legislature. It had a British foreign minister, and it had Mr. Muhammad Ali Jinnah as his legal advisor. Now, Kharan, Lasbela, and Makran were actually vassals of Kalat. And this we need to be very clear. They were not fully independent states. They were actually vassals of Khan of Kalat. And when the proposal to merge Kalat with Pakistan was sent to Khan of Kalat, he sent it to his legislature. And that point of time, a party called Kalat State National Party was in power, and its leader, Gozbaks Bijenjo, put it up. And he made a very interesting statement. He said, if just because we are Muslims, we are required to join Pakistan, then Afghanistan and Iran must also be asked to join Pakistan. And he went on to say that they say we cannot survive without Pakistan, but the fact is we have the minerals, we have the coast. Can Pakistan survive without us? And the proposal was unanimously rejected by the bicameral legislature. And that's how Kalat became fully independent on 15th August 1947 till March 1948. And then, of course, the first rebellion by Prince Karim and so on. I don't want to go into the rebellions by Nasrullah Khan in 1958 and then Sher Muhammad Mari's in 60s and then 73 to 78 when Ataullah Mangal's government was sacked and the Pakistan. With paucity of time, we'll go into what was given to me. Firstly, we need to understand who are Baloch. Now, this is a very interesting phenomena. We need to understand that Baloch do not speak one language. The people who call themselves Baloch do not speak one language. Baloch speak two strands of Balochi and Brahui. And Brahui or Balochi are as different as chalk from cheese. But despite speaking two different languages, they all consider themselves as Baloch and are together in this movement. Now, it is this unified sense, a narrative that has actually been built, which has created a Baloch identity. And this has been accentuated by a sense of persecution by the Pakistani state. You saw Dr. Maharang Baloch make a statement. Earlier, Mama Qadir Baloch tried to lead the people. So this has been going on because they realize that if we have to get our rights, then we have to be unified. They have been deprived. Of course, paucity of time, I won't go into it, how economically deprived it is because bulk of the minerals are from Baluchistan. Like, to give you an example, Sui gas, it was supplied to almost all cities in Pakistan and it came to Quetta only when a cantonment was set up. Till then, there was no piped gas in Quetta. So that was the last to get it. So there are, of course, various reasons. But my talk was to what are their strengths and what are their weaknesses. Now, firstly, can Baluchistan secede? To my mind, by itself, it's very difficult. Not because the sense of alienation is not there. Alienation in Baluchistan is complete. But Baloch lack the critical mass. They are just 5 to 6% of 5% of the population, and the Pakistan army will not let them go. So, what Baloch have tried to do? They have tried to expand the arena by creating Baloch Sindhi Mahas, by becoming parts of Pakistani oppressed nations movement and all those things. In fact, all the Sindhi liberation organizations, Sindh Liberation Front, Sindhu Desh Liberation Army, they're all functioning under the Baloch groups. So if Sindhu Desh Liberation Army is there, it actually functions under Baloch Liberation Army. The training, etc. is given. Though Sindh is a much bigger province in terms of numbers. But why? Because Baloch realized that by themselves they'll not be able to break away. So they need somebody's support. So they want all the suppressed nations of Pakistan to come together against the Punjabi domination. And as a result, if you look, right from the time from 2008, when the call was given that all Punjabi Muslims in Baluchistan are valid targets, they have been targeted. Now, what happened on 26th August 2024 is again this. The buses were stopped, the vehicles were stopped, and the Punjabis were eliminated. Now, this is, you can go on to the strategy and tactics, why it was, how it was done, right or wrong. So that is the strategy, and that is the right strategy, because if you don't have the number, you have to get others. And if you remember, when the first flare-up happened in this, in PPL complex in Sui in 2004, Nawab Bukti had given a very interesting statement. If you know, Lady Dr. Shazia was actually raped, allegedly raped by one captain. And he said, he made a statement. He said, ideally, the Sindhis should have reacted, but they have not. And then he went on to say, I don't appeal to dead people. That was as provocative a statement that could have come for Sindhis to, and you have seen, there has been turbulence in Sindh, so they have been realizing that that is what they need to do. What has been their tactics? Now, Baluchistan is a dry, parched land. It's a huge landmass with long lines of communication. It doesn't have cover. And so what happens? You have to attack. So the Baloch nationalists have targeted communication links. You'll see attacks on railway bridges, railway lines, oil pipelines, gas pipelines, electricity pylons. These are the usual targets that have been targeted. Besides them, security agencies or Punjabi settlers. Now, this is an interesting factor. Why Punjabi settlers? Because, right, one of the grievances of the Baloch have been that these mega infrastructural projects that are being set up in Baluchistan, like Gwadar Port, Sendak Copper Mine, Mirani Dam, all these are being controlled firstly by the federal government with outsiders with no control with the Baloch. And more importantly, Ataullah Mangal's son Ataullah Mangal himself had made a statement that federal government says they want to make Gwadar into another Karachi. He said if Gwadar rises to the level of half the Karachi, will become a permanent minority in our province. Because please understand, the Karachi's population is much larger than Baluchistan. So they feel that this is an attempt by the establishment to reduce them to a minority in their own territory. And that's why there is a huge anger against these projects. And Chinese have actually negotiated at some times with Baloch. I don't know what has been the result. I'm not aware. But the Baloch tactics is right. They are not actually killing or something. They are targeting these infrastructural projects, the linkages that connect Baluchistan to rest of Pakistan, the railway lines, the railways, the bridges, the pylons. And that's, I think, the right approach that they are pursuing. I have a lot to speak, but as General Shankar said, we must restrict. And that is what I'm trying to say. So this is what is happening, and what Mehrang Baluch is doing is a phenomenal thing. But as I said, till the time other ethnicities come in their support or an external power enters the arena, it is going to be very difficult for Baloch to secede. Please understand, when 73 rebellion happened, the Shah of Iran sent Iranian Air Force to quell the Baloch rebellion, because Baloch are being persecuted in Sistanwa, Baluchistan of Iran as well. And that has been a case. Baloch nationalism, like Kurdish nationalism, threatens more than one state. And that has been the irony, and that's been the sad part, what has kept Baloch under wraps. If you want anything more to be spoken to, I could speak on a particular topic, but this is what my, I thought I was asked to speak on Baloch, their strength, their weakness. The weakness part, sorry, I just forgot the weakness part. Now, the weakness part is also there. Please understand, there are different Baloch organizations. And to that extent, I give credit to Mehrang Baloch. She's trying to bring them all together. There have been a lot of attempts made by to bring various, but predominant organizations, the three of them, the BLA, the BRA, and the BLF, represent three different regions. The BLA is primarily Mari dominated group, which was earlier led by Nawabzada Balach Mari and have generally domination of Maris. The BRA is Bhukti force primarily. Uh, and then BLF is the one which is actually more middle class and on the Makaran coast with Dr. Allah Nazar, etc. It's not a very sacrosanct thing that this particular organization is supported by a particular tribe. BLF is now expanding because now the insurgency is led more by educated, urban educated middle class youth rather than a few sardars as was the case previously. But even today, the group has not unified completely. And I had long back attended a BNM conference which they had organized where their aim was that not only Baloch, but all the groups that are fighting against the Pakistani state must come together. And for bringing them together, basically what you need is an external agency which can bring them, because there are certain differences amongst them which keep cropping up from time to time. That's about all.